Hey everyone, it's Graeme Street, and you're joining me here on cyclo-core.com or on my YouTube channel. And today I want to share with you both a personal story and some tips and suggestions to have you or help you achieve a breakthrough. What is a breakthrough? Well, it's easy to think of a breakthrough as, performing better in an event, taking 20 minutes off your best century, losing 10 pounds, achieving a KOM on Strava, beating that faster guy to the stop sign on a Saturday group ride. That could be a breakthrough. But I think there's a lot more to a breakthrough than just empirical data and numbers. And I know for me, as a cyclist and a runner, I still can't believe that I'm a runner again, but I am. That's my personal story to you here in a minute. That what I'm really striving for is more than just performance. I think if we begin to see our performance and those empirical numbers as a result of our breakthroughs, we'll be able to achieve more breakthroughs and enjoy them more along the way. I've got a marathon coming up. I've never done a marathon before yesterday. This is called the Nipmuc Trail Marathon, which is coming up in 3 weeks from now. And I had gone from basically being a pretty decent cross-country and track and field runner back in high school to getting out of running for, I think, 16 or 17 years, and only focused on cycling, mountain biking, cycling, triathlon. It wasn't until I got back into triathlon, or I attempted triathlon 2 years ago, as many of you know, that I had to pick the running shoes back up and start running again. Did some Xterra events, did a couple half Ironman events. I'll be honest with you, I struggled to get back into the run, mostly because I've been a 15 years off the run plus, and focused on cycling. Why was I able to do a marathon by myself yesterday? Not just a road marathon, but a very intense technical trail marathon by myself, out of basically going from not being able to run at all 2 years ago for more than maybe a couple hundred meters without wincing pain and discomfort, to doing a marathon. Well, it's because I've had a lot of breakthroughs along the way, and I think that you can as well. So step one for achieving a breakthrough is picking things that are beyond your realm. And I've talked about this before. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but bottom line is that if you're not picking something that stretches your comfort zone and your boundaries, don't expect a breakthrough. No one ever achieved a breakthrough by doing the same old bullshit they've always done. And that's a fact. And you can like that fact or you don't have to. It's up to you. But the quicker you begin to understand that when you pick things that are beyond your current realm of perceived ability, you're putting yourself in alignment with a breakthrough. And that breakthrough can be pretty intense. Yesterday was pretty intense. It took me a little under 4 hours to do that. I hit my wall along the way. You're going to hit the wall along the way. But I think when you are in alignment for a breakthrough, you've chosen something different. Again, that could be, well, Graeme, I've only, my longest ride ever is only 50 miles. I'm looking to do my first century. Boom. You're in a different state of alignment, a bigger potential for breakthrough. Graeme, I want to, do well at cyclocross this year, and I want to, be podiuming in my, Cat 4 category 3 times this year. So step 2 here is really about setting your mind in motion for what you want. I think a lot of us ride a bike or we run without any really defined objectives of what we want to feel. And I don't just mean objectives about achieving a specific goal, but an objective of what I want to feel. When I went out yesterday by myself to go do this, it wasn't to finish just my first marathon. It was to feel something that I've never felt before. And I think that's an important concept that a lot of us tend to either not understand, or we're missing it because we're so caught up in the pragmatics and the empirical data. I mean, we're so glued to, well, how fast did I go? How far did I go? To what mileage? And I'll be honest with you, at the end of the 26.2 miles, I had to do a couple of these little loops close to my truck, close to the finish, because I was out of water. And I'll be honest with you, I felt pretty stupid having to continue to run just so I could achieve 26.2. It's like, well, who gives a shit? I'd already finished at 25 and felt phenomenal and hit a couple walls, but also got through those walls. I'd already had my breakthrough. So there's a case in point of getting too attached to numbers. If I had finished at 25 miles, would it be any less of a breakthrough for me? No, it wouldn't. Of course, I guess with the run, I guess that last 1.2 ain't so easy. So maybe it is a little bit different to think about it like that. But I had set my mind in motion before I got out there, and it's what I advise for step 2 for you. So put yourself in a vulnerable state. set your mind in motion. Before I even started my run yesterday, I'd already envisioned what it felt like to finish it. I was already thinking about that in the first 5 or 6 miles, about what it felt like to finish that. It was like a no way out. I'd already decided that I was done. I just had to basically complete from point A to point B, and finish what my mind had already achieved. So it sounds kind of corny, but if you put your brain in motion that you're going to do something, you will do it. And that's a pretty powerful thing. You look at some of the best, most successful people, not just athletes, but people in the world, whether they're professional or not, they achieve great things because they decided to. It's just that simple. You decide to, you're going to. You kind of half-ass it and say, well, maybe I could do that, then you're probably not going to. Now, third thing, you want to achieve a breakthrough. Breakthroughs in and of themselves require you to stretch your boundaries, and sometimes those boundaries could be physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, all the above. Hopefully it's all the above, to be quite frank. I think it's too easy for us cyclists and runners to just stay focused on just the physical. Well, I'm going to go out there and push my physical boundaries. Well, any of you that have done something extreme beyond the physical and into the emotional and spiritual know that there's a lot more value there. And what you need to do before you go out and try to do these things is understand that you're going to hit places of discomfort. I think all too often, I know that I have done this, I use my training so I don't have to suffer during an event. I got to tell you, that's never worked for me. It's never worked. You're gonna suffer at some point. You're gonna hit a point within a ride, a workout, a session, an event, a race, whatever it is, where you hit the wall. Any of you that followed me through YouTube, and I know many of you did for my BC bike race, I mean, I hit a wall right there on day 1 and 2. I mean, a flat, in-your-face wall. I was done. Emotionally, I was done. Spiritually, I was done. Physically, I was done. And because I'd set my mind in motion to do this darn thing, by day 3, that barrier fell over. And the real me came out, and I was able to not just perform better, but more importantly, I was able to experience a breakthrough in who I was as a cyclist and as a person. And I think that's important to distinguish between these things. I see lots of people racking up miles. I see lots of people racking up, well, I did, 25 marathons this year. I did 10,000 miles on the bike, but they're still not changed individuals. They're no different than they were before. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of backlight in here. I'm just going to fix that, hopefully. Sorry. I want you to be able to see me. You got to know that you're going to hit the wall. I think if you go into anything knowing that A, I want to achieve a breakthrough, B, I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position, I'm going to roll with the punches when they come, and I'm going to hit that frickin' wall. In fact, you know what? Yesterday, I had anticipated, having done a 20-miler and several 15-milers prior, that, based on what other people had told me, that I was probably going to hit my wall at 20 miles, give or take. And sure enough, right when that thing clicked over to 20.01, I started to struggle a little bit. And when I say struggle, I think just emotionally, things became tougher on me. Especially, again, being solo. I was taking very technical trails on purpose. Nipmuc, the event that I have coming up that's planned, is supposed to be very technical and tough. So I predetermined how I was going to set up my course, where as I got closer to the end and I anticipated hitting that wall, I made the course even harder. I did that on purpose, because I figured, well, if I can do this by myself when it gets at its hardest, then I can do it anywhere. I think it's important to do those things. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I think you have more potential to hit a breakthrough in a solo session by yourself than in any event, group ride, or anything else. I think too many of us look for those breakthroughs by latching on to others. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to do group events. I'm not saying that it's not okay to go out for a group ride or do a race or things like that. But I think if you can find your joy and your breakthrough by yourself, in and of yourself, where only you can get yourself out, you're more likely to truly have a breakthrough. Last thing here, now there's a lot of other things I can discuss, but last thing is when you do hit those walls, and they are going to come. So again, step 4 there is knowing that you're going to hit a wall. When you do hit it, embrace it. Say, well, it's finally here. I've been looking for you. In fact, yesterday's purpose is really to basically fast forward myself all the way to mile 20. If there was another way I could do it, I would, but basically you got to get yourself in that state where, I want to stop. This really hurts. That rock just freaking nailed my shin. I started swearing. I'm getting so negative on myself. Now what do? You go back to positive self-talk. if you set your mind in motion, you hit that wall, you let that wall come at you and say, hey, I've been looking for you. This is what I wanted. I need this. I got to get past this. I'm not going to stop now. Otherwise, that whole 20 miles that I did prior, or if you're on a century, that whole 95 miles that you just did prior is all for naught. So when you get that window, that corridor, and you know that the wall is hit and the pain is getting immense, again, physically, spiritually, emotionally, or all the above, take it in, man. This is the best part. Those of you that shy away from that, either A, you don't want to get anywhere close to it, or B, when it gets there, you cower in fear, you're missing it. Because it's such a small moment in time, so tiny. And when you can walk right through it, or ride right through it, or burst right through it, it seems, you look back and say, hey, that really wasn't as bad as I thought that it was. I can do this. And I can find another barrier beyond that. So when those things happen, go back to your fundamentals. Because again, I'll tell you, from mile 20 to mile 21 was the longest fucking mile I've ever done in my life. Took forever. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I got all the way to here, and now 20 to 21 feels like it's taken an eternity. And then you get to 22, and then 23. Any of you that have done a marathon or a tough trail event or whatever, you know. It's like, oof, I'm a VT50, which I got coming up here on the mountain bike before Nipmuc. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to mile 47 and be like, I don't think I can make it to mile 50. This is the good stuff. And I think if you start to see it like good stuff, you can go back to your fundamentals. Go back to your technique fundamentals. On the bicycle. Beginning to work on your form. Using your training prior to get to that fast-forwarded point. In the run, same thing. I mean, the second I started breaking down, what do? Deep breath in, push it out, go back to my breath, go back to my running form, go back to something that's occupying me from thinking, I gotta quit, I gotta stop, I can't do this, I'm gonna quit, there's no way I'm gonna finish. That's all bullshit. It's your body's way of protecting itself. You have to decide, can you break through that barrier? And the funny thing is most of our bodies actually give us a lot more margin than we're willing to give it credit for. And as a result, a lot of us shut down right before the good stuff really happens. And I'd hate to see that for anybody. I don't want to be stopping right before the good stuff really happens. Because if it did, the feeling of failure is immense. Now, obviously there's times within any training session or event where common sense has to overrule what I just went over with you. Meaning that if you're hurt, your body literally can't function, or it's putting itself in danger, that's a different ball game. That's not quitting, that's being smart. So I want to be clear on that for all of you. You sprain your ankle and like, well, I'm going to finish this, this 15-mile trail run, even though I'm hopping on one leg and probably going to break that leg along the way. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting your body to do things it can't do, or it didn't think it could do, or you didn't think it could do, by asking it to, telling it to. Getting through those tough parts. So when you find that, you find your character. You find out really who you are on a bike or who you are in the run. And I think those of you that are constantly looking for that, but not feeling it, and I used to be that person. Really, for years I was. I'm faster here, I'm faster there, but I still wasn't getting that satisfaction. I wasn't getting those emotional breakthroughs I'm looking for. Open up. Be willing to let go of the numbers. A lot of times yesterday I wasn't even looking at my pace. Pace didn't matter. I didn't care about the pace. All I cared about is getting through the next section without, number one, killing myself. Pretty tough trails. Number two, having fun while I was doing it. And number three, making sure that, I got from point A to point B. And that was it. Pace didn't matter. Ironic enough, I did a pretty darn fast pace. And I could have kept going at the end. But that wasn't my goal for the day. That was the breakthrough that I was looking for was already done. And that's the last thing I'll share with you, is that when you've achieved your breakthrough, recognize it, acknowledge it, toast a beer to it, go with friends and celebrate it. But don't just wash it underneath yourself and say, now I got to go into another breakthrough, and everything has to be a breakthrough. No. I can't make everything that I do a breakthrough. I can put myself in alignment for the occasional breakthrough, but you don't want to be setting yourself up where everything has to be better than it was before. That's when you get caught back in that trap. And if you've been in that trap, you know what it feels like. It's not pleasant, because now you're actually working against yourself. I hope these tips are helpful. Sort of a little bit long-winded, but I will be sharing my experience with you with the marathon. Really having fun getting back to trails. In fact, I've been doing more running than I am cycling by a landslide. I think I've done like 40 miles a week on the bike, but Not just putting in miles in the run, but experiencing things that I haven't experienced in years. And that's been fun. And I encourage you to do the same thing. It doesn't mean that you have to go pick up a pair of running shoes and go run. It just means go find something that brings you different joy. Because when I get back on the bike now, man, I love it. I love it because I'm hungry for it. And I'm stronger for it. And I have more potential for breakthroughs. So always speak again out of the smile on your face, my friend. Please share this with others if you've got friends that ride a bike or run or are looking to do so. I'll talk to you soon.